Welcome to the announcement of the Melbourne Prize for Urban Sculpture 2020 and awards.
Yep.
And please welcome to Country, Kutcha Edwards.
G'day everybody, hello and welcome to the Melbourne Prize for Urban Sculpture 2020 Awards and announcement. As that announcement just said, my name is Kutcha Edwards and I've just recently come on board as the Cultural Advisor to the Melbourne Prize. And in saying that, I've been asked to give not a welcome. I can't do a welcome. I'm not from this part of country, but I can certainly do an acknowledgement of country. That of the Bunurong, also known as the Bunwarang clan, the One Wurundjeri clan, the Tonarong clan, the Jarjawarang clan, and the Wazarong clan, all of the nations of the Greater Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to elders past, present and future, and I pay my respects to all involved in this year's Melbourne Prize for Urban Sculpture. And what a year, what an amazing occurrence. Usually I'd be standing maybe in the the BMW Ridge, but I'm actually sitting in my own a little apartment in Preston. But yeah, congratulations to all involved, and well done, Simon, again. And I'll see you around the traps, and yeah, on with the show, so to speak. Thank you.
And please welcome Simon Warrender, Executive Director and Founder of Melbourne Prize.
Thank you, Kutcha. Kutcha was the recipient of the 2016 Melbourne Prize for Music. The annual Melbourne Prize runs in a 3-year cycle, including urban sculpture, literature, and music. It's the most valuable prize of its kind in Australia. And tonight, we celebrate urban sculpture. Welcome to the awards for the Melbourne Prize for Urban Sculpture 2020, valued at over $100,000. Tonight is hosted by our foundation events partner, Fed Square, creative vision and audio in conjunction with our creative partner Playground. Thank you, Sally Cap, CEO and Creative Director, Adit Wadana. And Studio Pancho, Encore Creative, and the mighty Wonton. It's been a year of disruption, change, learning, adaptation, and moving forward, also for the Melbourne Prize. In our 16th year, we have again been able to achieve our core objective to provide opportunities for Victorian artists. This year's outcome is as exciting as it is thought-provoking. Since I started the Melbourne Prize in 2005, we've never faced more challenges, which almost stopped this year's program from going ahead. But with the generous and steadfast support of all our patrons, we were able to proceed. It's been a lesson of seeing a way forward and with immense obstacles. Amongst the announcements tonight by our panelists, you'll hear an unprecedented result, which speaks to a challenging landscape in urban sculpture, First Nation considerations, as well as the impact of the COVID-19 environment on the arts. In all, it's been a period of learning and new horizons for the annual Melbourne Prize. Tonight, I'll be followed by the Minister for Creative Industries, Danny Pearson, on video, then the Lord Mayor of Melbourne, Sally Cap. Thank you both for joining us. Followed by the announcement of the $60,000 Melbourne Prize 2020, the $40,000 Rural and Regional Development Award, and the $10,000 Professional Development Award. Our trophies are handmade by Melbourne's Funde Foundry. The winner of the $3,000 Civic Choice Award will be announced on our website on November the 13th, melbourneprize.org. Voters this year had a chance of winning a gift voucher at Sofitel Melbourne on Collins, number 35. Can I thank all our prize partners who will be duly acknowledged later, and thank them for their generosity. I'd like to thank our panelists this year for their time, dedication, and professionalism. Pip Wallace, Max Delaney, Dr. Simone Slee, and Professor Marie Sierra. I couldn't have achieved this year without you all. Thank you. The evening will close with Xavier Zar, the CEO of Fed Square. We're supported by the Victorian Government through Creative Victoria and the City of Melbourne. And can I thank our major patron, the Vera Moore Foundation, and trustees Ian Morrison and Roger Blythman, and Foundation Secretary David Richardson for their most generous patronage over many years, as well as our long-term patron Diana Gibson. Tonight does not allow me to name all our partners and patrons this year, but you will have seen them in the introduction and again at the end of tonight's presentation. But please visit melbourneprize.org for the full list, because without them, there wouldn't be a prize. Small not-for-profit organisations like ours just do not survive without public and private sector partnerships. And I'm immensely grateful for the support of all our partners at a time of great challenge and economic adversity for the economy and the community. I'd like to acknowledge my chairman, Janine Kirk AM, who has directed the organisation since inception and whose support I greatly value, along with my terrific board. Thank you all. Thank you also to Brad Taylor of Grant Thornton as our auditor. In closing, I'd like to thank the many entrants this year, acknowledge the 6 Melbourne Prize finalists and winners to be announced tonight. The sculpture sector in Victoria, the many organisations who have so generously supported us during the competition. Thank you to Royce, our media partner, and Sarah Kempson and Susan Owens for our social media. And please follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And finally, the public and friends of the annual Melbourne Prize, whose interest and support over 16 years is appreciated. Please enjoy the evening. The Minister of Creative Industries will now follow by video. Thank you.
I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land from which we each gather, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I also acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and First Peoples of all nations who are joining this virtual event. The Melbourne Prize has always been about uncovering, recognising and rewarding creative excellence. For 16 years, these awards have helped nurture the careers of outstanding sculptors, musicians and writers. In a year marked by great challenge for our creative sector, this support is more vital than ever. I'd like to give a big shout out to all the artists who bring so much to our creative and cultural life in Victoria. Our government will continue to do everything we can to support you in these difficult times. Tonight's event reminds us that our local artists give us cause for celebration and gratitude. Victoria's creative practitioners have played a vital role in getting us through this pandemic, providing entertainment, connection, solace, and hope through a bleak time. And as we begin to look forward to a post-COVID world, there's no doubt our artists across all disciplines will again play a key role in reshaping our community. Today we celebrate an impressive lineup of Victorian sculpture artists whose work enlivens and even reimagines our urban environment. The Victorian Government is proud to again partner with the Melbourne Prize Trust to recognise their contribution. Thank you to the Melbourne Prize Trust team for rallying to bring this celebration online, and congratulations to all our finalists and winners.
Hello everyone, my name is Sally Capp. I am the Lord Mayor of Melbourne and I'm delighted to be with you all this evening for the Melbourne Prize for Urban Sculpture Awards. The City of Melbourne respectfully acknowledges the traditional of the land on which we are gathered, the Bunurong, Bunurong and the Woiwurrung Wurundjeri people of the East Kulin Nation. I also acknowledge our new Minister, Danny Pearson, Minister for Creative Industries. It was great he could come in via video. Andrew Abbott, the CEO of Creative Victoria. And of course, we all want to acknowledge and congratulate Simon Warrender and the team at the Melbourne Prize Trust for delivering us this award ceremony this evening, but more importantly, for their enduring commitment to the arts sector. We need to thank the artists and the judges. Without you, this would not be happening this evening. We know at the City of Melbourne that artists bring meaning to our city. They delight us, they challenge us, they help shape Melbourne's unique character. After a bruising year this year, it's more important than ever that we provide our support, profile and our appreciation to our artists. This year, the Melbourne Prize changed its focus, as Simon said, and adapted to COVID-19. And we want to say, well done. You have not let the pandemic defeat you. It's fantastic to see. This year, finalists didn't have to create original artworks, but could present their features and artworks that have previously been developed as an acknowledgement to what a tough year it's been, but I think also as an acknowledgement to the vast array of work that has been previously produced and is still to be appreciated in so many ways. Urban sculpture is a form of art that is very close to my heart and to the Melbourne City Council, something that we believe in absolutely and we would like to see more of. And I thank Simon for introducing me to this prize back in 2007, and I still proudly display my magic pudding sculpture at home. Not as big as the one in the Royal Botanic Gardens, but still something that I appreciate every day. How art is expressed in our public realm is a cherished experience for all and distinguishes us as a city and a community. Our arts sector will be crucial to our recovery. It's vital to our sense of optimism, our creative spirit and our economy. The City of Melbourne, together with many other organisations such as the Melbourne Prize Trust, must continue to invest in our creative industries and our artists. We are thankful for their talent and their resilience. Congratulations to all the finalists and the winners this evening. I wish you every success on behalf of the City of Melbourne. Thank you.
And now the Melbourne Prize for Urban Sculpture 2020 announcement. And please welcome Max Delaney.
Good evening. My name is Max Delaney. Kutcher, Simon, Minister, Lord Mayor, artists, friends and guests. It's my pleasure to announce the Melbourne Prize for Urban Sculpture 2020. The Melbourne Prize for Urban Sculpture consists of $60,000 cash, generously supported by major patron of the Moore Foundation. I would like to acknowledge the Foundation's trustees, Ian Morrison and Roger Blythman, and thank them for making this generous prize possible this year. It's my pleasure to make this announcement and presentation for the Foundation, including the 2020 trophy, which I hold up, this wonderful constructivist sculpture. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the 6 finalists and the many entrants for the prize this year, as well as my fellow panelists. On behalf of the panelists, it's my pleasure to announce an unprecedented outcome. But first we will see this year's finalists: Beth Arnold, Michaela Dwyer, Nicholas Mangan, Emily Floyd, Kathy Temin, and Field Theory. Field Theory, Sarah Rodagari, Anna Shu, Jason Mailing, Martin Coots, Lara Toms, and Jackson Castiglione. Melbourne Prize continues to be led by artists. This year's finalists have addressed the critical role that public art plays in the ethical domain that underpins evolving notions of place and justice. The 2020 Melbourne Prize acknowledges that the ground on which we make and produce art has been continuously nurtured by over 2,000 generations of First Nations people, integrating life and art, creating song and performing dance. Reflecting a year like no other, the judging panel has welcomed the initiative of the 2020 finalists of the Melbourne Prize for Urban Sculpture, who have acknowledged the absence of First Nations voices and culturally diverse representation in the 2020 prize. In seeking to address this situation and the critical role of equity, diversity, and inclusion of the annual Melbourne Prize, they note, and I quote, "As artists, we are accountable to our ethical positions, to the expectations of our communities, and furthering the critical contexts that have nurtured our practices and disciplines over many years." The annual Melbourne Prize and this year's panelists unanimously endorse the artist proposal in 2020 as a gesture of solidarity in an economically and culturally challenging year, to share the $60,000 prize across all 6 finalists and their initiative to collectively pay an equal share of the total prize to a First Nations community organisation. We recognise the artist initiative as a productive critical engagement with the ethical conditions of working in the public realm on unceded Aboriginal land and the importance of action towards justice and equity through the arts. And so in 2020, it gives me great pleasure to now introduce the artist finalists, the joint recipients of the 2020 Melbourne Prize for Urban Sculpture, Beth Arnold, Michaela Dwyer, Emily Floyd, Nicholas Mangan, Kathy Temin, and Field Theory, a collective of artists including Sarah Odigari, Anna Shu, Jason Mailing, Martin Coots, Lara Toms, and Jackson Castiglione. Congratulations to all. It's been a great pleasure to work on this year's prize with you all. And I now welcome Lara and Nick to respond on behalf of the award recipients. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for your really thoughtful words, Max. These words that Lara, Toms and I will read to you now have been put together collectively by the shortlisted and joint winners of this year's Melbourne Prize for Urban Sculpture. But firstly, we would also like to acknowledge and pay respect to the Boon Wurrung and Bunurong and Woiwurrung Wundaroi peoples of the Eastern Kulin Nation, the traditional owners and elders past and present of the unceded lands and waters in which Melbourne Prize operates. We're speaking to you today from different lands, and we acknowledge that as artists, we are uninvited guests living and working on country. We extend a heartfelt thank you to Kutcha Edwards for his generous contribution to the 2020 Melbourne Prize and for taking on the new appointment of Cultural Advisor and for working in consultation with us. The shortlisted artists greatly appreciate the vital and generous support provided by the Melbourne Prize for Urban Sculpture 2020 to the field of experimental sculpture. We thank Simon Warrender and his tireless energy and commitment to the field of urban sculpture, and most importantly, the generous support of the Vera Moore Foundation, which has made this year's prize possible. We thank this year's panel, Simone Slee, Pip Wallace, Marie Sierra, and Max Delaney for their unreserved support and willingness to take on a different journey in awarding this opportunity. As artists, we are responsible and accountable for the framework in which we work. When shortlisted for this prize as predominantly white settler artists, we collectively reflected on the notable absence of First Nations and people of colour artists in the nominated shortlist. This gave us pause to think about how institutions must change. Alongside our roles as artists visibly positioned within this noticeable absence, we have considered the choice and opportunity we have been afforded through entering this prize alongside the wider social, economic, and political communities in which we live and work. This we can most immediately action through our sculptural, spatial, and social practices.
This year, like many other people, we've been immensely saddened and disturbed by current events. The destruction of 350-year-old Djab Wurrung directions trees, the Rio Tinto destruction of the culturally significant ancient Jugun Gorge rock shelters. We also acknowledge that we're in a moment where the presence of colonial monuments on unceded lands are being actively contested. It may come as a surprise that there's no singular winner tonight. Brought together as shortlisted artists, we, in partnership with the Melbourne Prize, have been on a journey seeking to address an acknowledged absence of First Nations voices. We've been in dialogue with members of our communities, and we have sought to work towards change. As a result, the prize will be distributed across all of us, the 6 finalists, and we will collectively pay an equal share of this total prize to a First Nations community organisation. We will each use the awarded funds to develop and support our artistic practices in line with the wishes of the prize patron. So we do want to thank our respective artist representatives for nurturing our work over many years. These include Anna Schwartz Gallery, Hamish McKay Gallery, Rosalind Oxley 9 and Sutton Gallery, and current supporters including Creative Spaces of City of Melbourne, Gertrude Contemporary, Monash University Faculty of Art, Design and Architecture, Monash Art Projects, RMIT School of Art, the Victorian College of the Arts Faculty of Fine Arts and Music, Melbourne University, Last Collective, and of course, a very special thanks to our families, our communities, and our collaborators. We are currently in the middle of NAIDOC Week, and we'd like to quote the 2020 theme, always was, always will be. Thank you.
And now we have the Rural and Regional Development Award 2020 announcement. And please welcome Pip Wallace.
Hello, my name is Pip Wallace and I'm a panellist for this year's Melbourne Prize. It is my pleasure to announce and present the trophy to the winner of the Rural and Regional Development Award 2020, which consists of a $40,000 cash award generously supported by the Jeff and Helen Hanbury Foundation. The award is given to provide a sculpture in rural and regional Victoria with the opportunity to develop their practice and benefit their community. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Hanbury Foundation, my fellow panellists, and the many entrants to this category this year. The winner is Laura Woodward. Congratulations. Laura Woodward lives and works in Castlemaine, Victoria, and is a lecturer in art at the Victorian College of the Arts, University of Melbourne. Laura has exhibited nationally and internationally, and her practice is focused on kinetic installations.
Thank you, Pip. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the Bunurong, Bunurong and Woiwurrung Wurundjeri people of the Eastern Kulin Nation, the traditional owners and elders past and present of the unceded lands and waters on which the Melbourne Prize operates. As a regionally based artist, I would also like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the peoples of the Dja Dja Wurrung community of the Jarrah country on which I live and work. They and their forebears have been custodians of this land for many centuries, performing age-old ceremonies of celebration, initiation and renewal, and creating and carrying their living artistic legacy forward for generations. I pay my respects to all elders past and present and future, and to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. Following from the previous presentation, I'd like to thank my fellow artists who were shortlisted for the Melbourne Prize for Urban Sculpture, this year's award panellists, Simon Warrender and Kutcha Edwards, for the thought and energy that you've each put into considering and addressing the challenges just discussed. To endeavour to pave a way forward that both acknowledges our various privileges and that addresses the acknowledged absence of First Nation voices and culturally diverse voices in this year's prize. As a recipient of one of the two other prizes, I was not part of these discussions. However, I respect and am humbled by the work that you have all done to this point, and I'm glad to be able to stand alongside you and voice my support. I would like to thank the Melbourne Prize team for the support that it has offered over the past 15 years to Victoria's artists, be they visual, musical or literary, and particularly to those working within the broader sculptural field. Thank you, Simon, for your vision and commitment to the prize and through it your support of Victoria's artists. It's always been a prize that I've looked forward to entering, and I've immensely enjoyed its previous iterations. Thank you too to this year's panellists, Pip Wallace, Max Delaney, Marie Sierra and Simone Lee. My heartfelt thanks go to the Jeff and Helen Hanbury Foundation for your generous support of the Rural and Regional Development Award. Though I spent many years in Melbourne, I grew up regionally and I've relatively recently relocated my family and studio back to Central Victoria. I see this award as an opportunity to build upon and perhaps somewhat reframe my practice in this regional context, and to develop connections and collaborations that I hope will contribute to and be of benefit to the vibrant creative community here. Your support of a category specifically for regionally based artists is really valued, so thank you. Thank you once again to everyone involved in this year's Melbourne Prize, and to my family, friends, and all those who have supported my practice over many years. Thanks.
And now for the Professional Development Award 2020. And please welcome Simone Lee.
Hello, my name is Simone Lee and I'm a panellist for this year's Melbourne Prize. On behalf of the judges, it is my great pleasure to announce the winner of the Professional Development Award 2020. This consists of $10,000 cash supported by prize partner Fed Square and the Melbourne Prize Trust, plus a $2,000 Qantas voucher. The award will provide Victorian sculptor with the opportunity to develop their practice. And later, after I've announced the award, the CEO of Fed Square, Xavier Zhao, will pass that award over to the winner. But before making the announcement, can I also acknowledge and thank the award partner, Fed Square, my fellow panelists, and all the entrants this year. So now for the announcement of the recipient goes to Isadora Vaughan. Congratulations, Isadora. Isadora is a Melbourne-based artist whose practice unpacks and experiments with material as geological, temporal, associative, and emotional. Congratulations, Isadora.
Thank you so much. I'm, as usual, outrageously unprepared, but I'm very grateful, and of course I would also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that I'm on and where the prize is based and where I make. I'd like to thank the Melbourne Prize more broadly and everyone that's involved, and to say what a radical honour it is to be involved in anything with such an outrageously fantastic shortlist of artists and panelists, and everyone involved is obviously has been really important both to my practice to look to, but it's a really important thing to be able to say that you're situated amongst a cohort of other people making art and sculpture that you admire and believe in. And I'm very privileged to do so. And I should also thank my gallery station. Thanks, Simone.
Congratulations, Isadora, on behalf of Federation Square.
And please welcome back Fed Square CEO Xavier Czar.
Thank you and good evening. And I look forward to a time when we can do that again shortly. I wish to begin by acknowledging the people of the Kulin Nations from whose lands this broadcast is coming to you from, and by paying my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'd like to warmly welcome all of you to Fed Square, albeit virtually, and to the Melbourne Prize Awards night for 2020. And I'd like to acknowledge our Lord Mayor Sally Capp. Congratulations on your re-election. And of course, tonight's prize winners. Tonight is recognition of your superb achievements made more extraordinary by these challenging times. I'd like to take the time to recognise the hard work of the Melbourne Prize Trust, so ably led by its Executive Director and Founder, Simon Warrender, who has made these awards possible since 2005. This year, overcoming the challenges of 2020 to bring the Melbourne Prize to life and perhaps making them the best ever. Federation Square has been the home of the Melbourne Prize since its inception, and we are proud to be continuing our support for the awards as the arts industry charts a recovery from a year of unprecedented challenges. And finally, I'd encourage you to check out the Melbourne Prize digital catalogue and press release, both of which are available at melbourneprize.org following the awards night. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for the Melbourne Prize 2020.